I suggested, I had a meeting with Wayne Paul, Ron's brother, a couple of weeks ago, Gary and I met with him, and Ron Malatesta, the chairman of the Texas Constitution Party. We're working this way up, and I don't know if we're going to get it in time for this year's campaign. But I'm suggesting that you've got the whole country here, Constitution Party, Louisiana is included, and you turn around and instead of trying to go after 435 districts and dividing your efforts up, pick a handful, America's most unwanted. Get the worst ones. Take the ones that have really got some sorry baggage. So the ones, and I don't care, Republican, Democrat, they're all the same. They're Republicans. The ones that have voted for the biggest, most tax increase voters, spending increase voters, and you can find them. Pick out 4 or 5 really bad ones, and then everybody in the country in the Constitution Party focuses on that. The ones that are close enough, drive. Now, you know, you guys are no strangers to politics. I'd be willing to bet every one of you has done something on a race somehow. You put out push cards, you've knocked on doors, and you've been on the phone base like I have, telling people, you got to get out today, don't forget to vote. You know, so-and-so needs your vote, otherwise we're going to end up with such and such. You want my jacket, man?
Not my jacket.
Okay. You know, that's what it takes. Well, you bring in the people from all of that area for those target districts. Let's say you got 5 Americans up, most unwanted. You think that the Constitution Party is big enough, the whole Constitution Party isn't big enough to defeat 5 congressmen? We can't defeat 435, but don't you think we're big enough to beat 5? One fight at a time, right? Now, if the Constitution Party can unseat 5 incumbents, even if you can only unseat 2 of them and scare 3 of them, the Constitution Party is going to have the attention of the media. It's going to get the attention of, because the media can't resist blood. You got to remember they're whores, okay? And it gets a point where the big business, when they smell blood, they just can't resist it. So what, you know, these are the things you need to be thinking about. Ways to take small numbers and focus those efforts. The ones that are too far to drive over on a weekend and go knock doors and hand out push cards, send money. Whoever it is, I don't care who it is. If it can't be worse than what's in there. You know, we've elected a lot of good, honest, well-attended men. And with, of course, exception of present company, we haven't re-elected very many. Because after, and I got a witness here that can testify to this, after 2 years in Congress, you learn real quick that you either play the game or you don't play.
That's why we kicked him out.
That's it. You didn't play the game, you didn't play. So, you know, it's if you've got an incumbent in there, he's not an honest man anymore. He's damaged goods. He is, you know, just, it's time for him to go. Now, let me conclude this, because I can only impose so much suffering. Fred told me to talk as long as I want. Talk about a brave man to tell a lawyer, talk as long as you want. But I'm going to tell you about your Constitution, folks. I'm going to give it to you to where you can understand it. Your part of the Constitution, your favorite part, and every other part is just as vital. If you don't protect the whole Constitution,
Get it.
you're kidding. You're right. Now, I'm going to show you your Constitution. No periods. Now, I don't have this hierarchy set up as better, less better, worse. I've got this hierarchy set up because of size. This is a power triangle. Where does the most power reside? Who makes the most decisions?
It's supposed to be Congress.
Us. Us. We decide where we're going to live. We decide what job we're going to do. We decide how many kids we're going to have. We decide everything about our lives. We decide everything about our local communities. The states are the next ones to us. They don't decide as many things as we do, but they decide things that touch us. You see how the states here touch us? Guess who doesn't touch us? The U.S. The U.S. has no touching. There's only two ways that he can touch us. Because if it ever says that I'm going to make a direct tax on you, for example, you know, taxing how you tax is just as restricted as how much you can tax it. If you're going to tax property, you can't do it to me. You can't tax my property. If you tax my property, you've got to send a bill to states. And what you got here is you have the states interposed between the United States government and us. And the state says, these are my people. You have anything to say to my people, you say it to me. You don't touch my people. You want to tax my people's property? Tax away. But you don't go talk to them about money. You don't go reach into their pocket. That's why Congress got so excited when the 16th Amendment was ratified. It was because they thought it was a carte blanche. They thought it was a blank check. And then Bruce Avers spoiled it all. That's why they had to start lying about it. That's when the code, you look at that changes in the code between 1913 and 1916, and then again in 17. And I've studied every code since then, all the regulations since then. And the lie keeps getting bigger and broader and bigger and broader and bigger and broader. And by post-war time, they got us convinced of things that aren't true. It took a while. It didn't happen overnight. Same way that my German professor at McNeese warned me that the German Nazis didn't take over overnight. It was a little piece of time. Never enough to fight over. Just a little piece of freedom. Never enough to fight over. But then all of a sudden, when we woke up one day, they were in control, and what they had left wasn't enough to fight with. Now, he warned me of that years and years ago, and it's stuck with me, because he was there. He was part of the German underground. There's another thing about this picture. The U.S. is way out here. And you notice that it has three sides, 3 points. Executive, legislative, judicial. The triangle is the most rigid structure. Geometric structure. The states, on the other hand, have a flat top. Why is that? Because all the states are equal. That's why all states have 2 senators. Us, we got a flat top. Why is that? Because all of us are equal. Remote, we've got close laws. Laws that actually affect us. Tell us what we can do, what we can't do. Those have to come from the state. But what do we get for that? We've got close, over here, representation. Do we have close representation in the federal government?
No.
Remote representation. Right? Guess what? They can only pass remote laws. The indirect tax, for example, they can pass a tax on smoking. That's a legitimate tax, not on smoking, but on manufactured sale of tobacco products. That's a legitimate excise tax. But guess who decides whether to pay that tax?
You do, and I do.
Who has the last word? They can pass a tax on gasoline. Who gets the last word on whether you pay a gasoline tax?
You do or I do.
That makes it pretty remote, doesn't it? So if you understand that they are not supposed to be able to tell us anything, they can't touch us. The only 2 things they can tell us is don't counterfeit our money and don't commit piracy on the high seas. Yeah, that's it. Now, they can tell us, we've got things we give them patent rights to regulate. Well, that's good, because otherwise, if you had patents in states, different states that were competing, that'd be a problem. Bankruptcy, same thing. What if you can still take a state bankruptcy if you don't owe somebody outside the state or have property outside the state. You can still take it to a state respite. But because you got debts and property in multiple states, having federal courts handle bankruptcy, that's a good thing. They got that. But they can't come out here and tell you, hey, we're short on bankruptcies this month. You and you are bankrupt. They can't come do that.